Hey, good morning. Okay, well, you guys did it again. You left a comment that sparked my um, interest to do another video, so maybe I can keep this going. This is going to be regarding the fourth industrial revolution. So, yes, you are correct. If you watch the World Economic Forum, uh, a lot is revealed. So there's a YouTube channel and there's something called the World Economic Forum where the leaders from everything from leaders of countries to technology to anything related to energy, clean it. I mean, it just goes on and on. Education. So they get together every year, more than every year now. It seems pretty constant, and they talk about um, how to maybe improve things or how to change things for the better of man, you know? Um, is this actually going to help things? In some cases, in smaller countries, yeah. I mean, if you can help get food to countries, you know, that obviously need more food, I mean, this all, again, like the oil crisis will continue. It looks like. So because of that, places like Ecuador, I mean, I just stumbled upon something about Ecuador, and I mean, there's like riots in the streets. So that's happening all over the world. Anyway, so the fourth industrial revolution, um, it is the whole concept is is a little bit older than the World Economic Forum. Okay, you can go back to the 90s even, and futurists could see that this is going to happen based off computer technology. So I want to sum up something. Um, it's gonna If you listen to me and stick with me on this. So computer technology speeds up, things like, you know I mean, everything moves quicker. So in your phone, literally, I'm recording this on my phone. I like looked for my phone for a second. It's not even a phone, okay? It's a freaking supercomputer. It does everything. I mean, it does everything. It'll tell you the weather and it'll read you a book, whatever, right? I mean, literally, like, if you have a phone now, um, a supercomputer, you can live in a tent somewhere and still be able to get Wi-Fi. If you can charge your phone, you don't really need much else. I think it's enabled people to be able to be um, more independent, right? Okay, I'm gonna try to stick with my point here. So the fourth industrial revolution is basically it'll continue to eliminate manpower and create more computer power to do what man has done um, for the last 120 years or 30 years, really, because it'll take place of what um, yeah, actually a lot of meaningless jobs. A lot of people be like, "Oh, are gonna take our jobs." I mean, there's that, like, so South Park episode. Take our jobs. Oh, hey, they're going to take our jobs. Well, you got to get out of that mindset, man. You know, unfortunately, um, we don't know how it will progress, right? As computer technology speeds up and it becomes smarter, or whatever you want to say, it may actually benefit man or woman. We should actually say woman more. Very, very important. Um, because if things progress how they are, and say everything kind of evens out and the war steadies and whatever, more solar power, more electric power, more wind power, more water power, you know, um, less reliance on fossil fuels. Um, what if, what if, like, down the road, we're looking at our kids. I don't have any kids, but your kids or whatever. Maybe they won't have to work in a factory, or they won't have to work in a shitty freaking dollar store, or whatever, you know. Um, because a lot of that will be taken care of by computer technology. You could go. This is a long conversation of, you start to go like, well, how could you have a grocery store without humans involved? And it is a huge issue, you know. But the fourth industrial revolution basically is computer power over manpower. Is it going to displace man and jobs and whatever? Yeah. Could that be for the better in some sense? Yeah, absolutely. You know, but then again, you know, you just don't know exactly how things will turn out. As corrupt and greedy and warmonger like the people at the top of, countries are, and imposing their controlling will on people that live, will they fuck it all up for everybody and start a war? More wars? They already start. Yeah, that could be, the whole idea of a utopia from a complete dystopia is very possible, and say if you're very religious, you may think of a paradise, a religious paradise from Armageddon or something, right? And that's a sad scenario, but in one hand, it is how things work. If you go back far enough, it's how it works. I've been transcribing some Civil War letters from my family from like 1863, 1864, or whatever. And it's interesting because one of my relatives, he's writing back. He's on the war. He's in the Civil War, fighting for basically for the country, or whatever, and explaining, like, he's talking to his mom and cousins about what's happening. Anyway, brought that up because out of destruction and horrible scenarios and war, there can be rebirths of, it's just how it works, right? It's strange. It's not okay, it's not. I don't believe in the strength through power and force. Strength through force. I think force is a very evil thing. That's not good at all. We all suffer from having one's will forcefully imposed. We all suffer. And again, I just saw another comment about somebody talking about, I won't even go into it. Anyway, so the fourth industrial revolution, people can push for it, but see, the thing is, the computer revolution, the third, say, Web3, I'm very, very aware of cryptocurrencies, alternate currencies too, how those work. I've looked into it. I've invested in some. I've lost money. I've made a little money. But I realize it's an addiction too. That is an addiction. It works just like a casino right now. Is that destabilizing for governments? Yes, very destabilizing, because money and power run together. Whoever holds wealth can create power. They must run the military somehow, or have some kind of a militia or something, right? If they're going to have a crypto, crypto power. So as of now, it's not going to happen. Web3 is more useful. Cryptocurrencies are more useful for other cases, like rights for film and music. NFTs can be useful. Buying a digital artwork is like a painting or a drawing is gambling, really. You're like, because the person that sells it could benefit. Oh, I'm wealthy off some freaking digital art, but then the person that buys it could lose a bunch of money, and then it becomes a devastating scenario. With music, this is a whole nother video. It could actually completely cause a new revolution, because it would finally be that you would have to buy the NFT to hear the song, to own the song. And then if it's protected with cryptography, right, or whatever you want to call it, a code, then you wouldn't be able to. You could probably give it to somebody, maybe, but you couldn't. You'd have to sell it, or you could give a copy, but you couldn't duplicate it like an MP3. So that means if somebody like Snoop Dogg did a album of just MP3, or sorry, just an NFT album you would have to purchase it to hear it or to own it. Um, there may be a place you can sample it or listen to it. Um, that's like, it's kind of like vinyl, like back in the vinyl days, and they said you know it's against the law to make cassette copies. In order to hear whatever a Beatles album, you could hear it on the radio, but you had to go buy the record and play it. I mean, that was your copy, right? And now it's just like complete, everything's just like out there and free. So the artists really suffer in that sense. They don't make as much. So something like Web3 could be a revolution for artists. Um, so if you stuck with me this long, that's a very important point. That's a whole nother video. In fact, I can do a few videos on that. So we'll leave it at that for right now. Hope you guys are all doing good. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your comments, whether they're, you know, um, whatever they are, you know. Thank you. Bye.